everyone, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we blur the line between good and evil when we look at these two. It is Shattered Glass Ratchet and Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, and they're going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for. All those links are in the description below. Check out all my social media. All those links in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. A lot of links in the description, man. As for the set itself, listen, man, I am smitten with both of these. I like the Ratchet mold. I like the Optimus mold, so they're probably going to score relatively high. When we look at Ratchet, I'm not going to be showing the transformations. We've seen it in both directions before because we've previously looked at the Earthrise Ratchet and the Earthrise Ironhide. So we're not going to see the actual transformation this time around. For Optimus, when we get to him, we've seen the conversion previously from robot to truck, the way he comes out of package. So today, just to document it here on the channel, we're going to show the conversion going back from truck to robot. So without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take closer look at these guys. And this is definitely one of those cases where it feels so good to be bad. I am digging this set. Now, this should be relatively quick overall because we have already looked at the transformations for Ratchet forward and back. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And we've seen the Optimus mold transformed from robot to truck mode. I will, a little later on, show the conversion back from truck to robot mode because we haven't covered that on the channel. But before we get into any of that, we have to begin with that old packaging first. And of course this is Generation Selects packaging. It's just a brown box with names down here. It's nothing special. Gigantic instructions. With all of the Ratchet and Optimus stuffs. There's an echo because I'm far away because the instructions are so huge. Did you get that? Did that come through? Yeah? No? No? Okay, let's move on. We have the Earthrise Optimus Blaster molded in this nice gray. I'm glad that the peg is the same color as everything else that's there on the side. And it still folds up. Similarly, we have the Ratchet Blaster. This time it is molded in white and painted silver. And indeed, we're going to begin with Ratchet first, and he can in fact hold his blaster just fine, just like the regular Earthrise Ratchet or the Ironhide. The top of his vehicle mode can go on his back if you want, or of course using the ports that's on his forearm or his shoulder, you could of course attach it on the arm as a shield. And here we have both Ratchets in their robot mode. I did do a bunch of custom work on my Earthrise Ratchet, such as painting his pelvis and his hands red, as well as the crosses on his shoulders. Now I looked at the Galactic Odyssey Ratchet, the Earthrise Ratchet if you will, in episode 778 along with Lifeline, the Paradron Medic. And honestly, I love the Siege Ratchet. I mean, the thing was as close to perfect as you could want. The Earthrise still scored just as high because it's basically a reuse, with the difference being the way the chest tabs in, and it does tab in, and the top on the vehicle mode. So it did score well. Some people have said that they don't like the mold as much. That's cool. It's up to you. I get it. The vehicle mode is a little rough, but I think it works better for Ratchet than it does Ironhide. In terms of personification, the regular Ratchet's a doctor. The Shattered Glass Ratchet is more akin to a mad scientist, where you don't want to have to go to Ratchet if you're injured, because the way he fixes you, in quotes, is probably going to be worse than the problem you went there for. Though he earnestly believes he's helping. Because of his kind of maniacal delusions and his reckless abandon for scientific research, Optimus Prime sees him as invaluable and someone that he can take equal glee in torture with. Yeah, the Autobots in Shattered Glass are pretty messed up, man. So you can see here, either you like the mold or you don't like the mold. This isn't going to change it. Now, let's get into the scores for Ratchet. Okay, so when we talk scores, the first things first, we got to talk about his paint apps. And really, all we have for this is some comic book fiction. Like, there's not a ton of Shattered Glass fiction. And this doesn't quite match that. The shoulder on the left has some different detailing. Sometimes the head crest, instead of being purple, is the same sort of teal color. Sometimes the teal is a more muted, darker teal color. There's a purple crest often over on the shoulder on this side, the not left, the right shoulder. There you go. So, like, this is, I'm going to call it a departure, but, like, really I don't know if it is. I do know that evidently the teal here is supposed to be reminiscent of, like, the scrubs the doctors wear. That's why it's there. I don't know if it was used to great effect on the feet. A lot of people have debated about that. I don't care about the feet sticking out on the back. For Shattered Glass Ratchet, like, you look at this and you definitely know that it's not right. You know, there's no surprise there. I'm going to say it's, I don't have a lot to compare it to. I'll say it's a 9. You know, some people that are hardcore sticklers for the fiction, as limited as it is, would point out, again, some differences like I did. But for the most part, he hasn't appeared really in anything, so this is as good as anything. And I think the last one that we got before this was like a BotCon customization class offering that like went for like nuts money in the aftermarket. So this is probably the best bet to get a Shattered Glass Ratchet. In terms of articulation, first thing to note, his little back piece here can also be like a slide. And in the instructions, they have you using the 5mm like peg hole that's on the blaster and putting it on the side over this peg. I like to put it up on this end using the handle. I don't know, it sits a little higher. I like this a bit better, but that's just me, to each their own. Laying that aside, the articulation on this dude is left, right. Arms all the way around, all the way out to the side, like way up. The elbows too, 90 degrees, bicep swivel, wrist swivel. We have a waist on the guy. The chest, as you can see, does tab in. We have the ability to do folds, splits. He can go all the way forward, all the way back. Thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees, ankle tilt in. These pieces are solid on the guy. Honestly, if you wanted his fingers to open or close, I guess, that's about it. I'm going to say 10, honestly. There's nothing more I could want from it. And there they both are in their vehicle modes. Look, the transformation's a 10. Either you like that Siege Earthrise transformation or you don't. I think the fact that, you know, the entire torso flips around and, you know, the way the legs open up to encapsulate the hands, I think it's intuitive, I think it's clever, and in this case, because of the fact that we have an extra part, it hides things away well. Except for the feet. I admit that. The feet are a standout. Not as bad on this one as they are on the Shattered Glass. That's going to bother some people. There are 3D printed options. But I think the transformation makes sense for what it is. So, in terms of Shattered Glass Ratchet, I'd say he's excellent. I would say that overall, his paint apps looks are easily a 9, maybe a 9.5. I mean, you know, it depends on how hard you're tied to the fiction. The articulation's a 10, the transformation's a 10. It is a really strong Shattered Glass Ratchet. But that's not the only part of this set. No, because we also have Optimi Prime. Yeah, not Optimus. I guess we would say Optima because we've got 2 here. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. But we've got the good guy and we've got the bad guy. We've got the red guy, we've got the purple guy. And the only thing really to note here is when you fold up his blaster, and we've seen this with Earthrise Prime before, you can stick it in right there on the back to fill in that section. I think that probably works better for the Shattered Glass one than the regular Earthrise one. You'll notice that I don't have a trailer here. Now, couple of caveats here just to note and get out of the way. I did mention when we were looking at Ratchet that I had looked at the previous Ratchet with the Paradramatics in episode 778. However, if you really need to see that transformation going from vehicle back to robot, I looked at the Autobot Alliance 2-pack of Ironhide and my custom Prowl as recently as episode 805. So that's why we didn't go through the transformation there. I like it. I think it's a great transformation. I think it works fine. Granted, there are weaknesses with the alt mode, but when we get to this guy, the first thing that people are going to say here is Optimus doesn't have his trailer. Actually, my Optimus doesn't use the trailer that came with him. That is actually with the Siege Optimus and has been confiscated by one of the scraplets. Now, I initially looked at the Earthrise Optimus Prime in comparison with the Siege back in episode 667. I also discussed an update to my custom Optimus in episode 671 because I felt like he did need some work. The trailer I use with mine is the Second Chance trailer. By rights, it's supposed to go with the AoE Evasion Mode Optimus Prime, but I use it with this guy. So I don't have it here. Plus, there isn't a trailer for the Shattered Glass Lad, though a lot of people have opted to use the Nemesis Prime trailer with this guy, or if they have the alternate universe Optimus Prime, they use that one. It depends on if you want a gray trailer or a black trailer. I would like to have a trailer, but I don't have the alternate universe one, and I really don't have an interest in taking the trailer from my Nemesis. I like my Nemesis trailer with my Nemesis Prime. So this guy, I don't know, maybe one day he'll steal Optimus's. I don't know. But truck to truck, they both look good. I will note here as well that you talk about the fine details of Shattered Glass and regular. Look where the Autobot symbol is here, and look where the Autobot symbol is here. It too is even mirrored onto the other shoulder. Let's talk a little bit about the scores a little more in depth for the Shattered Glass Lad. Well, it's purple bad guy Optimus Prime, and he rolls fine in this mode. I like that we actually have the silver painted in on all the tires. I wish the tires were painted black. Who knows, maybe I'll touch that up. In this mode, the only thing really that I think is not there is, and I'll just turn like he has the cracked windshield. I think over on this side, up around the top, he's supposed to have the words "till all are gone," kind of like a tattoo type of thing, I believe. And it's not here. But you know what? I'll let it pass because if it was there, it would probably be so small I couldn't read it. Anyway, I like this. I do. So we're going to do the transformation. We're going to give him his scores. You'll notice that I have not yet talked about the Matrix of Leadership. It is here with this guy, an evil Matrix. And we will talk about that when we get both him and the regular one in robot mode. So where do we begin to do the transformation for this guy? Well, it's pretty easy. We take this, if I can get it, out of the back, and we'll just lay that aside. Of course, we open it up because it's going to become his full-fledged blaster a little later on. Then we can, I guess if you want, you can put up his toes next, because why not? And you come to the side and you open out that panel, you open out that panel, you do the same on the other side, you open those panels out, and you come to the front. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't come to the front yet. No, you're going to want to get the arms kind of out here so you have some leverage, and maybe even open up the back piece there where his head is. Then probably come to the front and open out those tires. And his really likes to tab in more, I find, than the regular. I need to untab this front bumper section, and it's a lot tighter on the Shattered Glass than it is on the regular Optimus, to be honest. And then we bring that all the way forward, we fold in the tab, and we fold in the tabs, we fold that in, we fold that in, we split that, and we bring it down, and we begin to bring the whole thing down around while we push the head out through the back. So that'll all come down and become his chest. The head comes up, the chest goes in and tabs in, and the head comes up, and there's a little tab on the back of the neck section that goes to a little slot on the section that we're folding up. This head for some reason likes to pop off. I don't know why, but once we have that done, we can turn the guy around. We can open out his little rest of his abdomen sections and fold up his tires and fold these in on the back, a la Studio Ox. We open up the inside of his forearm and we flip out his hand and close up his forearm. Same thing on the other side. We open up the forearm, we flip out the hand and we close up the forearm. We straighten down the guy's heels and we're going to stand him up. Naturally now when we stand him up, we split the legs, push in the gas tanks on the legs, but he's gone out of screen. We need to refocus. And the last part of his transformation, we fold down the knee cover pieces. And I guess if you are really inclined, you can take his blaster and that goes in his hand. Boom. And there you have the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime in all of his robot glory, alongside the regular Earthrise Optimus. Look, the regular Earthrise Optimus, I did a little bit of work on. The yellow lighting on his pelvis, certainly the centerpiece I filled in. I made his biceps red and his shoulders red, but on the Shattered Glass Lad, the biceps are already purple. Now the argument is there that if you compare it, for example, to the Masterpiece, the biceps of the Masterpiece are gray. I kind of like the full purple arm because it seems like it would match Optimus's full red arm. He has the right chest with the broken window detailing. The blue is the right shade of blue. The head is beautiful. He's probably missing the kind of weird green light right in the center of his pelvis. It's a weird paint color. I don't know if I could match it or not, to be honest with you, but I'd say it's a 9.5 for a Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. Like, it's pretty darn accurate, man. Plus, I like that this time around, they actually brought the color through on the side of the leg. It's not all the way around to the back, unfortunately, but they did bring it through to the side, deeper than they did with the Earthrise. Though on my Earthrise, I painted all of that a blue that matches really well, thankfully. Yeah, I don't know. It's a 10 for that. The transformation, honestly, or sorry, a 9.5 for that. The transformation, honestly, is a 10. So we have a 9.5 for his look. We have a 10 for his transformation. I think it's brilliant. I love the way that everything kind of compacts up and becomes part of his chest. This isn't a faux chest. I mean, it's his real chest. But yet, it's still familiar enough with the way the arms move and the way the legs move that it feels like Optimus Prime. In fact, the legs are brilliant in their simplicity. So a 9.5 and a 10. What about the articulation? The articulation, we have an arm that can go all the way around, out to the side. We have 90 degree at the elbow, bicep swivel, wrist swivel, and opening fingers. We have a head that can go left, right, up, down. We have a waist swivel. It's hindered a bit by the tires up on his back, but I mean, you can move them if you really need more swivel than that. The legs can go all the way out to the side. They can go, bringing this arm down, back about that far. They can go forward all the way. We have over 90 degrees at the knee. We have a thigh swivel built inside the thigh. I didn't have his chest tabbed in. We have an ankle tilt. We have toe tilt. We have heel tilt. The guy has everything you could want. Admittedly, if you compare it to the Siege mold, something about the length of the legs seems really long here. Like the proportion seems slightly off. Like the legs are a little too long, maybe. But all the articulation you could possibly want on what is essentially a Voyager is there. I'm going to say, honestly, that too is a 10. The guy overall, the mold overall, is, if it's not a 10, it's a 9.75. It's almost perfect. Now, interestingly, Earthrise Optimus Prime was a leader class price point. The Shattered Glass Optimus Prime was also a leader class price point. The difference being that one came with the trailer and the accessories, as where the other one came with Ratchet. So, yeah, I think it was a tremendous deal, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So, as a whole... Whoa, hold up. I said on the whole, but before we can talk about what I think of the set on the whole, I did forget two kind of minor things, but I'll show it anyway. One is the evil matrix. The one inside the chest of Optimus is above. The one that's in the Shattered Glass Optimus is below. It has some silver paint. It has some purple paint on it. It is not painted nearly as much as the one that comes with Siege Optimus, or sorry, Earthrise Optimus. Far less paint detail. It is molded out of translucent yellow plastic. The silver does not go all the way around, it's just on the front. The purple is just on the front. If I take these, I'm probably gonna go to focus, but hopefully not. If I take these, you can see on the back there, like the translucent is just translucent. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that beauty coloring on the head sculpt, man. I love it. Look at those evil red eyes. Okay, so now kind of for my overall view of the set. So I think it's a tremendous set. I love the Ratchet mold. I think the tolerances on this version are the best out of Ratchet, Ironhide, and Shattered Glass Ratchet. I think this guy works the absolute best in terms of tolerances of the mold. Admittedly, the teal is going to be off-putting for some people, but if you have a penchant for Shattered Glass and you want a Shattered Glass Ratchet, this is definitely your best option. No doubt about it. Hands down. The Optimus is a great mold. Either you like the Earthrise Optimus or you don't. I can't imagine somebody not liking that mold. But, you know, to each their own. Some people have mentioned that opening and closing the chest is extremely hard because of some tolerance issues, like they've had to shave something down. Mine wasn't. The tolerances on my Optimus are fantastic. They're perfect. I do not have the issue at all that some people have reported. The matrix fits in there just fine, as you can see. I don't want my entire collection of Shattered Glass, but you know, give me like a cardinal little handful of, you know, 3 or 4 on either side, and I could be cool with it. I think I would like that. I don't need a ton. But having these two is a really nice feather in the cap. For me personally, as part of Universal Collision, this will fit in nicely. I have seen other versions of the Nemesis Prime before, but I think that this one takes the cake. We had an overall score of Optimus being 9.75. For Ratchet, it was about a 9, 9.5. This is a fantastic set. And here we are once again, and here they are, and we're going to do this one at a time. So we're going to put Optimus down, and I'm going to pick up the other Ratchet. Look, I dig this, man. I dig this. Nothing as creepy as, like, seeing your evil twin, you know? Like, nothing as creepy as that. I could have done without as much teal. I'm not a teal guy, but I get it. We're supposed to be scrubs. I understand the logic that went in behind choosing that color. I like this. I like the original, though I've done some custom work on them. I like this one, I think, even better because the tolerances on the Shattered Glass version of Ratchet are even better than they were on the Earthrise version. Especially the chest. It tabs in really nicely here. So Ratchet, complete win in my book. Then we have Evil Optimus Prime. And, okay, he doesn't have a trailer, and I know a lot of people give him, you know, someone else's trailer or the Nemesis one or the alternate universe one. I would like for somebody to just do a trailer to go with this guy. Just do a trailer that's already intended to go with him. I don't know, third party or something. I don't know. But maybe he'll just steal Optimus's at some point. Here he is next to Optimus. Now, you might notice this Optimus actually has a few extra bits and pieces. I think it's resin cast, I'm not really sure, but friend of the channel, Dragonfly, because outside of the US you can't really get the Centurion pack. Don't even get me started. He cast that set for me and sent it. Now, it needs a lot of paint work, and I still have to do that, but when it's done, we'll take a look at it. The axe is done, though, right now with, like, wood stain, so, and it worked. I love both of these Optimuses. I love that they both come with a Matrix, a good one and an evil one. I think that that's tremendous. I wish there was more paint on the Matrix for the Shattered Glass, but I'm okay. Honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, for what you get in package with the Deluxe and with the Voyager and with the accessories that they come with, honestly, I think it's reasonably priced. I think it makes sense. I think it's a win. I think it's an absolute win. I don't want a whole line of Shattered Glass. Maybe just small teams. 4 or 5 on each side, and we have 2 Autobots. I dig it. I absolutely dig it. If you don't like those molds, nothing about this, other than maybe the colors, is going to change your mind. If you do like these 2 molds, then, you know what? Honestly, go in for it, man. It is well worth it. They look fantastic, and the detail is great, right down to the Autobot symbol on the 2 Optimuses being on the different shoulders. Let me know what you think about the Shattered Glass duo of Ratchet and Optimus Prime. I appreciate you coming by, man. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon, and you can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. hit the subscribe button while you're at it, man. Stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.